Even the cover, I'll put the cover on screen here to kind of go off about the cover too. The cover also implies that this will be a goth type of Gaga album. So it frustrates me even more listening to this album. Every time I revisit it, I look at this fucking cover and I'm like, oh, what could have been? The things that could have been from this album. But hey everybody, Nevermind Kelp Street back, and today I'm going to be jumping into the newest Lady Gaga album, Mayhem. If you're new to the channel, welcome and thank you for clicking this channel. My name is Danny. I'm Nevermind Kelp Street on YouTube and Instagram and Twitter. Very little I use of Twitter now. And I would love to have you stick around to learn about new music and recommend music you're listening to, whether it be new or old. I'll eventually probably cover it on the channel. I have only 2 or 3 projects I think still written down to cover. I've already recorded the Sabrina Carpenter short and sweet video. This is probably going to come out after that because it's already done recorded. I just need to edit it and then upload it. And then I'm also going to have another main channel video coming soon of my wrap-ups of March of 2025. So just generally things I've heard, what I liked, what I disliked, just the general month wrap-up. But I'll still get to your request eventually, whether it be a short or a main channel video. If you request something on the channel, I will cover it. That's a promise. And today, I am covering the newest Lady Gaga album. I love Lady Gaga. I've been into her since before I've come out as trans or queer or anything like that. And honestly, my personal history of her music and her as an artist, over the years, is the few kind of small pockets I found in my life to really relate to somebody who was a very big public pop, like, gay icon, at least for the gay community, and something that really, really empowered me, made me feel more comfortable to come out and talk to people and, you know, bond with people who were into similar styles of music and things I liked, just art I like in general, because I love her music videos too. And this album has me torn. You know, I hate to come with the one of the bearers of bad news here. I don't like this album, and there's many reasons for that. Starting out, I loved the music videos and the singles being dropped for Disease, for Abracadabra, for Die With A Smile. All 3 of them were great. The stylings of Disease and Abracadabra was far different from how Die With A Smile was. It was a very country pop song. So yeah, it was just confusing to me how the Die With Smile, the last song on the album, Mayhem, had a music video that was like Lady Gaga and Bruno Mars with like this country western theme style. I don't know why 2024 people are choosing to make this like the wave of country. I do know why. It's because part of me feels like as America is the more Republican America is, the more country is back in its wave. I fear, which means we'll have it for the rest of the Trump term at least. But that's my theory at least. Out of what we have here, Lady Gaga and Bruno Mars in a country pop type song with Die With A Smile. It's mainly just pop. It's just the theme, like, listen to the song separate from the music video. It's just a pop track with a little twang to it. And then Disease and Abracadabra are both very like goth Gaga themed, which is very harsh contrast to the first music video, because Die With A Smile was the lead single. So to have all 3 of these in the same album was confusing to me already going into it. And then so before I get into too many more negatives, I want to go over all my positives, because I'm gonna flip this a little bit and ramp up to what I have to say about this album and like its core. My pros are the production. I love the production on this album. I love the production on most Gaga albums. It does remind me a bit of the Fame era Gaga, so I'll say that, but I still like it. It still hits in that same way where I'm like, oh, this feels good, this is nice. It's very rich, very detailed in every song, even in the ones I don't like as much. I really like the production in it. And then one of my second big highlights for this album is that I like the Gaga-isms that stay. And what I mean by that is that she always has these certain things she does in every album that I can, or song, honestly, to me, that I can tell is like her voice is pitched in a certain way, it's placed in the production a certain way, it fits into its own pocket. Most every song she does, it fits in a certain pocket of production style where like they really slot her into the instrumental very well, where her voice is very clear, very easily understandable no matter what's going on the beat, unless like it's some like noisy in some sections. And also how she's like ooh mama, certain sections like that where she does like very her own vocal stems for her songs that come out often, and I'm glad those are staying there. I love those. They really add a little tinge of Gaga to the song. My favorite songs would be The Garden of Eden, Disease and Abracadabra, the first 3 songs. And honestly, up until song 5 or 6, I like all the songs. Just the second we hit I'm a killer, the album, no, it's more like funky than that. It's like I'm a killer, like it's so from if you haven't heard this album yet, I do recommend listening to it at least once, take your opinion from it, because you might find the difference of genres in this album interesting. I feel like some people who like various genres, like in theory, this is an album that would stand out to me because I like different genres and different styles in the same album. I like when things mesh together and artists can do multiple different things. But the second she goes her like 70s, 80s pop funk thing on this album, like Killa, Zombie Boy, the guitar is good in Zombie Boy, but the general theming of the song I do dislike heavily, of like this like reggae, I don't even know if I could call it that, like just like very funk Gaga. I don't think she pulls it off. I don't think it's good. It's really bad to me, actually. It's like really bad. I know my light went out here. Give me a second. There we go. And then pretty much from that point on, the album never really recovers to me. From Killa and Zombie Boy onwards, that guitar solo in Zombie Boy is one of the last things I liked on the album. I had to take a break. Me and my wife were listening to it, and we're like, we have to tap. I can't. I need to come back to this. And I finally finished it a day or so later. Felt the same about the second half as I did in my re-listen now than I felt the first time around. It just got worse from the second half on, like the B-side onward, right after the first 4 or 5 songs. Blade of Grass was next to Killa. It was my least favorite song on the album. I was already disliking it, already feeling like it was losing its mojo and its groove, and then we get a super, super slow song right before the end that honestly kind of just trods on and does nothing to me. I am the type of person who I will admit I am, like, it takes more to win me over in a slow song or a sad song than it does for a more upbeat, energetic, I like hyperpop, I like really energetic rock music, I like things like that, so a slower song takes a lot more to win me over sometimes. So I understand and respect the purpose of this song. Slowing down at the end of an album makes natural sense to me, but I just do not like Blade of Grass. It was a part, I feel like in this album to me, was something that slowed down when I wanted a better upper energy song to kind of lead me out to the outro. It just gave me a nothing burger of a song, and then I had to go on. And then ending it with Die With A Smile was like a just a little tarnish on top to be like, oh, we're ending with this. I figured that would be like one of the first 2 or 3 songs, like Disease and Abracadabra. Just have the first 3 singles in a row there, or have them closely to the front of the album, and then end with new stuff. I feel like, to me, as I've been making my own music, and like I've been in hiatus recently, but I have ideas for this year. I want to drop something by the end of the year. Like, it's kind of an announcement here, but I want to drop it in a short EP by the end of the year, instrumental or otherwise. And what I think about is, like, if I drop singles, I want to save the new material to the end, the majority of the time, because I want to keep the listeners and people who engage with music like that interested with the project. So seeing Die With A Smile come on, I was like, oh, it's this again, and that's it. That just kind of leaves me off. So I understand the majority type of people who consume music will not consume it like I do, where I've heard all the singles, watched all the music videos already, and then saw the album come out and listened to it like a few days after it came out. For the people who have, this album was a huge disappointment to me this year, because I was really hyped off the singles, at least 2 of the 3, and then when it came out, it felt like one of my only other cons of this album that will kind of go over, like, my thesis of how I felt about this album was goth, ? Exclamation point, because it felt like from the 2 major music videos that were themed, Disease and Abracadabra, which she started with, this was going to be like a goth era Gaga, and by the 3rd or 4th song, you immediately can tell that she's just abandoning that theme altogether. And Die With A Smile kind of told me that outright when I watched it as a music video and compared to the other 2. It just felt like she was, like, not committed to this theme. Like, she was not gonna go full in with it, and I was proven right. And I went into it with the small inklings of hope that maybe I'd be proven wrong. I will expect the best out of people and their intentions with their, with their image and what they want to go with their music. But it just felt like she wanted to half-ass a goth album. And even the cover, I'll put the cover on screen here to kind of go off about the cover too. The cover also implies that this will be a goth type of Gaga album. So it frustrates me even more listening to this album. Every time I revisit it, I look at this fucking cover and I'm like, oh, what could have been? The things that could have been from this album, but we only get like 2 fucking songs and music videos that, like, I liked a lot. I liked the first 2 music videos a lot. I like Disease and Abracadabra a lot, because Die With A Smile was first. But it just felt like, going into it, I just get reminded now of, like, what could have been, but what I got out of it was, like, 3 or 4 songs. Like The Beast was a rock themed one. I really liked Garden of Eden for its rock kind of goth theme. I feel like if you're gonna go goth, you go rock with it, you know. And I feel like everything that fit the theme was Disease, Abracadabra, Garden of Eden, and The Beast, and that was it. That was 4 songs that felt like it fit the theme of this goth, rock, like more edgy aesthetic that Gaga was going for, from like how the cover implies, and how the main 2 theme music videos imply. So all the rest, I feel like you could cut this down to like maybe 10 songs, and some of them still feel like the Fame era Gaga, but at least they would have fit in like this type of era. But now we have just like this very disjointed and confusing listen to me, honestly, that I'm left just kind of stewing with and being like, okay, what do I do with this? I pick out my favorites and move on. I think that's eventually what I'm just gonna end up doing this album. Is I've listened to it for a second time. I'm probably gonna pick out my favorite half of this album and then go from there. But it's not to diminish that there's still older Gaga albums I love, and I probably still continue to love, and that maybe I'll find a different type of love and appreciation for this album later in my life. It's just that now I am confused and disappointed by its release. So that's kind of where we're at. Thank you for tuning in. That's most of my little rant today of what I have to say about this album. Let me know how you felt about this album, Mayhem by Lady Gaga, or if you like Lady Gaga in general, what you like by her, what you listen to now, what's your favorite type of pie. I like when people engage in different type of comments like that. Just kind of just throw out like different anything, you know. I really hope that all y'all having a great day. Show you much love, and goodbye, Kelpies. I'll be back with another video soon. Bye-bye.